Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was a Hollow, Part 1. Where we last left off is I practically gave a gist of what was to come, what will happen. So yes, kind of like an explanation, more like it. So, to explain what happened last time when What If Deku was a hollow, the doors of hell were opened, practically. Hollows were set free to roam the earth once more. Deku met some people, and yada yada. That's practically the gist. So what would happen is that, as a child, Deku would be given a present. A mask of some sort. Because let's say he's about 5. And what would happen is that, due to reasons, somewhat like that, the president was calling to him. In sort of sense. It was calling to him. So, what practically happened is that when he was 5, he was gifted a mask on Halloween. Due to Deku wanted to be something scary for Halloween. Yes, why not? So his father gave him this mask he found on one of his expeditions. And when he put it on, sort of sense, he practically released wrath, pain. So he practically released, like, hell upon Earth, practically. Or at least, hollows upon Earth once more. So, yes. He was born different, you would say. Like similarities, he would get these dreams of past memories or fights, you would say. Fights that were beyond the past. I'll say about a couple billion, a decent amount, like kind of like not medieval times, but I guess like it's at least a good 1,000 years or so. Let's say it's like 3,000 something. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. What would have happened is that these memories will be connected to battles that happened in the Bleach universe. Or since they are technically connected in this What If, in the past. A lot in the past. Far in the past. Ichiko, everyone, they no longer exist to know any type of memory of them. No their ancestry has ever appeared, which that is how old or how long it's been. Not even a slight memory. So yes, this is beyond the future practically. As enough talking about that, Deku would be gifted a mask, and what would happen is that every time the mask is too far away from him, it would just appear in his room beside him, or I guess under his pillow. Not knowing the reason, he will think it was some type of quirk, like his mother's quirk, but it can only be used on certain objects, like the mask, for example. So they'll think it's kind of like a downgrade from his mother's quirk. So they'll just call it one one item connection. Yeah, they call it one item connection due to it always appearing with him. And the mask would be pretty hard to break. Even so, if it does break, the next day it will just appear under Deku's pillow, fully, fully intact. Not a scratch on the mask. So yeah, I'll say the mask is like, I'm not explaining the entire mask makeup, so yeah. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch part 0. I practically explained the gist of the entire what if, so yeah. Or at least half of it. So yeah. So what would happen is that, I guess, for plot reasons, Yoichi, I guess some of, the captains, I guess this will be kind of, I guess, a parallel time connected to the Bleach universe, yes, but kind of like a 3-way. So it's kind of like the future, beyond the future of Bleach, but at the same time, it's like a parallel universe almost. They're connected by Wakamundo, which is, I believe Wakamundo is the place of the hollows. Armenis Grande, I think. I believe that was a hollow name. Anyways, yeah. They're connected between that plane. They can go to, the past on, the normal timeline, or the parallel version of the future. So that would be the only way I can actually, have things appear and be excited. So yes, connected, yes, but no. And I'll say only certain hollows or, espadas can do this. But due to them not really caring and it not being their world, they wouldn't care for it as much. Especially since, there's no spiritual pressure anywhere. Until, of course, flippin' this man started to put on the mask. Which, yeah, just awoken this hollow right here. A very, how would I say, a very strong hollow. Yes, a very strong hollow. So what I'm trying to say is that what I mean by parallel universe, I mean that, you know how Ichigo is the good and light, practically, taking down Aizen and whatnot, and how he uses his hollow, his hollow side for good. That always has to be a yin-yang. So this parallel universe that is connected to theirs would mean they would still use it heroically, but at the same time, the hollow would use his powers for more on the dark side, kind of. So yes. And after, he would always have it either on the... Deku would always have his mask on the side of his head. Because it would usually either appear in his book bag or appear in one of his pockets or something. So, he just decided to wear it on the side of his head. I guess he would technically get it as 3, I think. I think I gave it to him in part 0 when he was a baby. But anyways, I'm changing that a little bit. So anyways, yeah. 5. Yeah. People will think this will be weird and a little bit, scary due to how the mask looks. And due to kind of like a Kurama and Naruto thing. Except that if the host dies, the other partner dies with it. And if you don't know Kurama, if Kurama dies, he's practically a monster reborn, but he doesn't technically die. Kind of like if you ever seen Dracula in the anime. He never truly dies, either being resurrected, reincarnation, or somewhat. Kurama will always come back, being formed out of, chakra. So yeah, that's so he's practically like the opposite of that. When this hollow dies, he dies forever. He don't come back. He don't come back. So yeah, he'll be. As you know, Hisashi, I did believe I technically killed Hisashi off, I think, but if I didn't in part 0, then I'm about to do it right now, so yeah. How would you say, let's say Hisashi was reading upon these things. He was reading some ancient articles about hollows, soul reapers, you know, an ancient battle of both clashing Quincy's and all that. But Quincy's and anything else that is not, you know, Soul Reapers will die due to Hollows being a lot more powerful in this timeline than, you know, Canon Bleach. Or, you know, stronger in this universe. So, yeah. And so, when this will also happen, like, the following day, I guess. So, you know, the first day of school, you know, Hisashi's on, you know, a trip, another expedition, and, you know, he's reading upon these things, and, yeah, how would you say, Hisashi was about to, you know, he had a lot of ancient artifacts upon, you know, the Bleach universe, and, you know, there was, how would you say, an orb of some kind. More like the gateway of, you know, the Soul Society. He was about to turn it until, you know, let's say, you know, Deku's, you know, he's in class, as suddenly, you know, the mask eyes, I guess, yeah, they start to glow. As, you know, the hollow inside of the mask, kind of like, it's like a karma thing, not really, but yeah. He was like, yeah, they wiped out my race, and I just got my race back, so sorry, kid, but not. So, you know, he using, you know, negativity powers and, you know, spiritual pressure and yada yada, flipping, I guess, paranormal stuff. Deku's father would, how would you say, instead of unlocking the key to Soul Society to activate, you know, the barrier that they put over it to, you know, permanently shield the Soul Society from ever having any interactions with, you know, the land of the living. That would not just be bad for humankind, because I mean, they're eventually, it was about, you know, stuff that was about to happen. Also, by the way, I say Aizen is still alive for plot convenience, but I mean, he's technically immortal. So, also he's in like a mummy-like stasis. He's sleeping. Yeah, he's still in that chair, just sleeping. So yeah, he's still got the eye patch and everything on him. As you know, as soon as, you know, someone touches the key of the Soul Society, Aizen wakes up. As his slumber has finally been unleashed. But, I mean, he still got the seals upon him. Because I'll say, plot convenience, the more spiritual pressure he uses to try to take them out. I can say, what they have on Aizen, it uses his own spiritual pressure or power to seal him. So kind of like an infinite loop. The more power you use, the more, you know, your power will be sealed kind of way. So yeah. Aizen wouldn't be able to do anything, but he would be able to, you know, walk out of the prison due to, you know, his bindings are permanent, but I mean, chains aren't, so I mean, he would walk out, but he wouldn't be able to, you know, since Soul Society has built, like, you know, future Soul Society, everything's, you know, futuristic, so yeah. Yes, but no. What I mean is that over years, they have built more layers upon land, so yeah. He would technically be trapped on the ground, technically. And what would happen is that there would be a memory from Deku's brain, or the hollow would, the effect of using spiritual pressure would cause Deku to gain a memory, a specific fight, if you will, a fight that includes Ichiko, Kurosaki, and Aizen. Sosuke, I believe that was his last name. So yeah. Which, in, the Bleach universe, Ichiko right about now would be, the entire, the Bleach story will begin. As, yeah. So what would happen is that, practically, what would appear is, how would you say... Hollows would start waking up due to the recent activity of Aizen in the Soul Society. Because the Soul Society felt the presence of, the Hollows unleashed and the Hell Door once more opening. They didn't care about it because they weren't going to do anything until, something actually happened. Until, Hollows started... Not strong Hollows, but I guess decent Hollows would appear in the Soul Society. It's kind of like, you gotta, if you don't do this, you kind of gonna destroy Soul Society, practically. As we go back to Deku's universe. Deku, right now, got a headache. Or, that spark, I guess. As he feels something coming, but he doesn't know what. He feels like something is about to, appear. And that's when, how would you say, the sludge villain happens. Due to instances, the sludge villain will more likely become a hollow. Due to, I guess, now that hollows are now around Japan, I guess it wouldn't really be that close of a call to say that the sludge villain got attacked by hollows and apparently got possessed by a hollow. So this would be midway while... Also, it had the sludge villain attack will happen way earlier, like way earlier. Of course, due to Deku being 5 now. As due to the hollow inside the mask unable to contact him until the right age, he would kind of guide, like whispers, kind of. Due to that's the only thing he can do for now, because everything, any type of contact will take spiritual pressure, and due to Deku's body being so young, he will only be able to take so much spiritual pressure. So the hollow will have to whisper to him, "Get away from the window. Get away from the window." Or it will just say, "Window. Window." As it keeps on saying it over and over. Deku's, he's getting a little lightheaded because, it's a lot of spiritual pressure. Also, it's like normal Soul Reaper spiritual pressure. So, he raises his hand to, use the bathroom. As soon as, he hits mid-class, like, he's right in between the doorway and in the middle of the classroom. That is when, the classroom will be bursting. As this will also, hollows all over will know that the most powerful hollow has awakened, and that practically, if we get him now, we don't gotta worry about him later. So he's kind of like he's evil but good. He don't like good people, so he still try to attack you naturally. But I mean, if you're evil, he'll still attack you. So kind of like I guess he's kind of like a symbiote, kind of. But I mean, he attacks anyone he sees a threat, precisely. Or he even does it for fun. So I mean, yeah. So the sludge villain Hollow would appear in the classroom as there'd just be a giant hole in the classroom. Now as students are just flipped to the doorways of the classroom, just flown, like they just get like yeeted to the doors of the classroom as people, I guess no bones, no injuries, I guess minor injuries. And desk will also be flown. And so people would see this, how would you say, this fading in and out of existence thing. As, obviously is like a sludge villain, kind of like fading in and out of reality. Since, it is possession, and due to the sludge villain still being alive, and it being a hollow, it would cause that effect to, appear, reappear, disappear and reappear into reality, or into a soul form. So it would just go blink, 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 and no one. I guess people will see this, but they'll just think it's a villain, and it'll try to look for Deku, as plot convenience. Deku's right in the middle doorway. So yeah, he was about to leave as sludge villain was about to attack until kind of like a drill attack almost, until the mask was like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna die, and I don't want to die. So eyes glow once more, and there's just a beam of blood colored aura or spiritual pressure that is just kind of like a shield, but not. Like a beaming light just appears. Kind of like a Kamehameha, but I mean, kind of, but not at the same time. Deku would just, taking control for, a bit of time. Deku would put his hand out, and, the Hollow or Sludge Hollow would try to, kill Deku or absorb, the Hollow mask as the barrier, or he would use his spiritual pressure as the Hollow notices that he's not hitting anything. He's not drilling into anything, but, as he sees, the, reminiscences of, red, dark red, blood red, and different shades of red that are, just, I guess, coming off, just going to the sides of him. As he's getting infuriated, and plot convenience, let's say there was who would appear. Why not? Let's say Deku, sludge villain need to take, due to it a human body, and it being a hollow, he do gotta take a break, like a 5-second break. So that would give Deku, or technically possession, but not. Because if it's a high-class hollow, they don't need to fade in or out of, into soul form. They can just, fully take over the person. Or, temporarily. And, not go into the soul form. So, I guess the hollow inside Deku, put the other arm up. As, 5-year-old Deku would put his right hand up. And, just say one word. Zero. And kind of like a distorted hollow voice. As the sludge villain is kind of, I guess, shot. It's kind of like a, it's like a zero, but it's the shape of a plus, like a plus zero, like an X almost. So sludge villain is just getting yeeted in the air. As Deku faints. due to his body not yet able to contain or, be able to harness that amount of spiritual pressure, leading the hollow to be in slumber. For, both him and the hollow have to slumber. As, not Deku, Bakugo and, the entire class would say he unlocked his quirk in a villain attack. So, yeah, practically. Bakugo, some other people would say it's a very strong quirk. It was enough to defend the villain and propel him back. So, practically. As Deku is now in a coma for 2 weeks, about. Missing 2 weeks of, I guess, easy classwork, easy math and whatnot. Everything's pretty easy as a child, so yeah. Also, for reasons due to them not being able to find his body, and a note coming back saying that he'll be back in a couple of months, no one will suspect that Hisashi Midoriya has now died due to him sending that letter. So when they find their body, it'll be pretty far off in the story already. And that he might stay there for longer to, get more artifacts, to learn more about them and whatnot. As that sudden, burst would awaken, the captains, or not awaken the captains, but, their senses will go off as they now sense this overwhelming spiritual pressure from the land of the living. As, every captain's surprised, like, I thought we killed all the hollows and sealed inside the mask. Has the mask once more been awakened? As now they've been knowing this, but now they know that the mask actually has been used. And, Kenpachi, I guess, since, this is a parallel universe, Kenpachi, he'd be like, a challenge, I see. As, the old man will stop him from going, do not to go any further, Kenpachi. We are only here to protect the Soul Society. We are no longer capable of protecting the world of the living. As those who disagreed have, left the Soul Society. Like Yoichi, I guess practically friends with Yoichi, a couple other people. So yeah. Including the dude with the hat and whatnot. From Bleach. So yeah, a couple Bleach characters, out of the Soul Society due to them disagreeing about this. So they'll be living in the world of living, as I guess Yoichi will be in her cat form, just going rooftop to rooftop, minding her own business until she just hears and feels a sudden burst of spiritual pressure, as she looks to the side, seeing, or on the corner of the building, she would see, the attack, as Deku, blasts the sludge villain into the air, Now we at present time. That's practically what, from Yoichi's perspective. So yeah. As now we go after the 2 weeks, and due to Yoichi being right there, she would see Deku with a mask. I guess some memories of her would be scrambled due to her living in the world of the living a little bit too long. So yeah, her memories would be a bit scrambled, but it's some type of hollow mask. So yeah. She left kind of before, the hollow mask was sealed, or, all the hollows were sealed. So, they never told her that, the captains never told her that it was sealed. All hollows were sealed in the one mask. And, now that the mask is, found, it cannot be, back into a seal until, the host either dies, or, the host itself is sealed into the mask, which will be Deku in this perspective. As in those 2 weeks, due to both him, the Hollow, being, knocked out for a bit, that is when Deku would get his first glimpses of the Hollow. What should I name him? Comment down below what I should name the Hollow. Or, Deku's Hollow. Anyways, the Hollow would kind of like the sludge villain fit in and out in their mindscape due to, spiritual pressure still being needed. In those 2 weeks, Deku's body would, his spiritual pressure would, be boosting, be lowered, and then shut off rapidly. Or not rapidly, but, just randomly. So, you can either feel just a dramatic spiritual pressure, little spiritual pressure, none at all, just at random times. It would just happen randomly in those 2 weeks. As, that is the Hollow trying to communicate with Deku, trying to, tell him, hey, yo, I'm a part of you, technically. So I'm technically you now. We gotta work together, but, due to, the power and, technically a sealed inside of him, the Hollow would only be able to do limited things due to, him not having a lot of, mental blockage or, sanity blockage. So, if, the Hollow did try to communicate with Deku, Deku would go insane due to the amount of spiritual pressure needed to do so. As he would only, I guess they would talk, but only, few words due to what I just said. As I'll say deep inside, we go to the Bleach universe. As deep inside, I'll say, when did he unlock the Hollow form? I guess he unlocked it in season 1, somewhere I don't remember the exact time he unlocked it, but let's say deep inside Ichigo, while this was all happening, when Deku was attacked, deep inside Ichigo Kurosaki, I'll say his Hollow part felt something strange, similar to him, but more sinister in a type of way. Cause yeah, why not? This isn't good. I don't know where the spiritual pressure's coming from, but I know it's not from this world. As him and I guess Zangetsu would, I guess do whatever. As I'll say this will be, I guess, the 5th day or 10th day of, Ichigo, doing Soul Reaper stuff. So, pretty decent, a decent amount of time has passed. So, yeah. We go to Wekos Mundo, where Aizen is being kept. Or not kept, but, he's in pieces. Not pieces, literally, but, he's divided into 3 parts. He's divided in one world to another, as when Ichigo did that, that dark form where he lost all his abilities in the end of Bleach or near the end of Bleach, when he was Ultimate Zangetsu or something like that. When he did that giant what was it? I can't remember the name, but he did that giant ability where it practically cut Aizen in half. That would split Aizen. That will split him to another universe. I guess, yeah. Because remember, this is from Deku's world, so this isn't the Bleach versions of Aizen. This is the My Hero Academia Hollow Aizen. So yeah, this will be there's 2 Aizens technically. There's one in Bleach universe, and then there's one in Deku's universe. But let's say for plot convenience, when Aizen was cut in half in Deku's universe long ago, it split into technically 2 parts, because I don't see it going to Wekos Mundo or the other versions of it. So yeah, he would go, he would be born as soon as he cut in this world. He would be born in Ichigo's world, I guess, or Bleach universe. He would be born there. So yeah. So he would technically be half power, but still immortal. So yeah. As you know, they talk, and as you know, we go back to Deku in the coma. I guess Inko would be worried out of her mind. Doctors will say it was fine due to, they'll say that the only weird thing about, the only, thing that we noticed is that the mask on your son would not come off, and if we try any other tactics on taking it off, we might hurt your son. They'll try to study the mask, but nothing will pop up on the mask because it's very old history, like beyond old history, beyond ancient. So yeah. So they'll, as soon enough, that flickering on and off of spiritual pressure would eventually, Deku's body would eventually adapt to it, making so, instead of flickering in and out of existence of Deku's hollow would, able to show himself without, disappearing from his mindscape, or, going away, I guess, in the back of his mindscape. So he would actually be able to show himself to Deku, but not talk, though. He would kind of guide Deku to certain things, because there would be certain memories and whatnot. They would be, how would you say? There was interactions of memories. He would be able to show him, memories of what happened in the, beyond, in the past. Beyond in the past. Or far beyond in the past. So, yeah. Memories of fights and whatnot. He wouldn't be able to show him the entire fights, but he would be able to show him, I guess, pics of the fight. Like, in and out, kind of, flickers of the fight. Like, clashes, I guess, power-ups. Kind of like, one of those old-fashioned, record things where, you press a button, it films it. But, it only shows it pictures. So, yeah. As eventually Deku would know that he would know somewhat, but as a 5-year-old you can only understand much. All he will know for now, due to him still being a 5-year-old, is that he would see, he would know that strong people, I guess he would see them as like, bad guys, I guess, bad guys and good guys fighting. But he would, after seeing what the good guys did, he wouldn't see them as good guys, being, the Soul Reapers as the good guys, but after abandoning, their code on protecting the Lord of the Living, Land of the Living, he wouldn't see them as good guys either. And, he would see the bad guys as, just broken due to hollows being formed out of negativity, and, negativity after one has passed away, and their soul, declines on, moving on, going into the Soul Society. As he will see hollows as more of a just people who need to be helped out, kind of like a therapy type of thing. They all they need is help, and they're just broken people who need to find their way. As the hollow inside of Deku would practically, he would see the growth of Deku's mind. But, even though there's some glimpses he can only show him, Deku still understands the gist of it. For a 5-year-old, at least. And, he would then get a glimpse of, I guess, I guess a glimpse of a fight. A final fight, I guess. Of, Ichigo and, Aizen. Their fight. He would show him one more time, and then he would change it out of the blue into a fight, as Deku in his Vesta Lorde form going versus who. So yeah. as they are fighting, and he closes the image to make the spiritual pressure smaller for him to actually speak a couple words. Soon, me and you will be able to do that. Soon enough, boy. Soon enough. As he shuts his mouth to make sure not even though Deku's body has adapted in the real world, it does his speech alone can give out a lot of spiritual pressure. Because Vastalorde Ichigo didn't get that until season 2 or wait no, it was not season 2. I believe season 4 or something. Season 3 or 4. So yeah. And Ichigo was 15 and Deku's only 5. So I mean, yeah, that's a lot of spiritual pressure still. Fun fact, Ichigo's 15. Even though this man got the body of a flippin' adult. Bro, the dude. Anyways. Yeah. And slowly but surely, the more, Deku and, the Hollow would try and, show each other things, kind of, I guess, understand each other, more or less. Deku's body in those 2 weeks will dramatically change. In the sense of that his body will be... He'll be a bit taller. He'd be a pretty tall... a decently... He will grow a foot or two. As a, 5-year-old. So he'll be a pretty tall 5-year-old. As Yoichi, I guess, due to no one else knowing that, or, not caring, or no one has appeared to, see at the matter of, the awakening of the Hollow King, which that will be, I'll say Hollow Kings are different in, both universes, or, practically 2 universes. Technically 2 Hollow Kings, yeah. But this is, this Hollow King, So no one has seed to see the Hollow King's mask has been awakened. Is there something they didn't tell me? Why is the Hollow King here, and why did he choose a boy? As she doesn't know that, it was locked away for who knows how long. And let's say she, due to purposes, she kind of, the place, she trains under, the training ground she took Ichigo in to, unlock his Bankai. It's kind of like a time, what was it? Kind of a time capsule almost. Well, there are, seconds and whatnot in the time capsule. There would be hours and days and years in the real world. So, yeah. And this would, how do you say, purposely be made for training Bankai. As you know, besides that, Deku would have, the basics, good, evil. Without good and evil, there's practically just, nothingness. As he knows the basics. He still is a child, but he will dramatically gain knowledge, and dramatic as his brain also adapts to handle all this knowledge. As now the Hollow inside Deku, this is the second week now, the first half of the second week. As Deku's Hollow now shows him the basics of the, Sanpakuto and whatnot. Or, I guess he would just tell him because he wouldn't be, able to use the Sanpakuto, so he'll kind of see that is useless for now. As he just tells him, or, technically shows him, there are different forms of, I guess, Vastalorde, Bankai, the basic things, first, second, things, power-ups, Bankai, I guess, Yeah, like just things like that, like power-ups and whatnot that Deku can do, which is probably, I guess, only Bankai, besides other forms. Second release, first release, second release, third release, and all the other releases practically, and then Bankai. So yeah. So he would get all. He'll understand most of these forms. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know why this Hollow King is so powerful, is due to, in the Ichigo universe, Ichigo Karasaki is more than just a Hollow and a Soul Reaper. He's a Quincy, Fullbringer, and all this other stuff. So meaning that this Deku's universe of the Hollow King is a lot more stronger than, Ichigo's version of the Hollow King. So yeah. Due to Ichigo being a lot more strong, due to Ichigo being a lot of things, and Deku only being technically a Soul Reaper and I guess a Soul Reaper and Hollow, but more on the lines of Hollow, since the Hollow version does give Deku to become a Soul Reaper, or at least some sort of childlike espada. So yes, as you know, I guess let's say why not, the espada in Deku's universe still are a thing, but they're just not shattered, but they're all over the place. A couple are in America, as they're just living life. They no longer need the espada or their Zanpakutos. So, they practically act more human than Espada. So, yeah. Grimmjow, Neliel, Hollybell, like all the other Espadas, they practically adapted to human society. So, yeah. As they would also feel the awakening of the Hollow King. Due to the Hollow King not being number one, I guess when it comes to being hollows, he would be number one. No doubt. But when it comes out of, I guess there would be a couple things that can challenge him. And a couple other things, so yeah. So Deku, his brain would configure and change into more of a calm, because, he would, I guess the Hollow would explain that the more calmer you are, the more control you have over your powers, practically. Or, in this sense, Deku only knows quirks, so, the Hollow would say, I'm like your quirk in some lights. Or, he would technically show him, I'm practically a quirk, I'm your quirk, but only yours. So what would, all that, he'll explain it. Deku would be a bit smarter over this time period and all this other stuff of explaining and showing things. So, yeah. And what would happen is that in both soul societies, I guess, because I guess both the soul societies will feel this spiritual pressure from, another Hollow King. Ichigo's Universal Society will feel this. They will think it's a Hollow King, but notice that it's a lot more stronger than their Hollow King. So they'll see it as, they wouldn't really be able to pinpoint it, but they know it's from another world. And that it's dangerous, But they wouldn't, be able to do anything due to none of them knowing how to actually go to the other world. So, yeah. So, how would you say it would be, I guess, second week, day 5. 2 more days. So, yeah. Deku would, how would you say, he would know practically the basics somewhat of the normalities and, a couple of, the specifications and complications of, being technically a Hollow. So, yeah. How would Deku be a Soul Reaper without, I guess Zanpakuto, is that due to the strength of this Soul King inside of Deku, he would create his own weapon years ago, but due to him not being able to hold it, he would only be at half power. If you know where I'm going, this is probably going to be a treasure search. So, what would happen is that how do I want to have this Sanpakto? I guess it would be kind of like it'd be a Sanpak. Yes, it would be a Sanpakto, but it'll be made out of, I guess, hollows, or power of hollows. So it'll be a weapon, a very strong weapon. So yeah, where do I want to put it? Where do I want to put this Sanpakto? Also, it'd be like a. It would be like a red and white Sanpakto, if you're wondering. Mixing with a little black. Because, I mean, it is what it is. Darkness is darkness. So it'd be like a red, black, and white Sanpakto. Kind of like a candy cane. But, I mean, adding the black. So, yeah. It would be... where do I want to put it? I want it to end up like, you know what? Purposes, let's say it's on the island. Melissa Shields Island. So yeah, how did it get there? Very interesting. There was a fight between this Hollow King and I guess the entire Soul Society, since he a G, they a G like that. So yeah, he G. So yeah. And what would happen is that where is it? Do I have it? Island, I think. Yeah, it's Island. It'd be on Island. As Melissa Shield, David Shield, and I guess a couple other scientists will figure this out after it'll be an ancient artifact they'll hold on and notice that it contains a lot of power. And I mean a lot of power. Like, a lot. So, yeah. Practically, what would happen is that the sword itself will also know that, its master has awakened. So, yeah. Yeah. And it would kind of be like, it would be sentient. But I guess due to it being part of the Hollow King, kind of be like that evil and good. I guess it'd be technically two evils, since, this is the evil version, I guess. Since, Ichigo is the good version. So, yeah. Anyways, what would happen is that they would practically use it as an energy source, try to figure out how to use this. It would be kind of in a rock, a type of, it have bandages on it, rocks on it, it'd probably be covered in, rocks and seals and whatnot to, make sure that that power isn't released. And, what humans do when they find something they don't know about is, decide to poke around with it. So, they're trying to open it. Which, I will leave that to there. As you know, we go back to Yoichi, which is in her cat form on the windowsill watching Deku. As Deku has now learned a lot and is now a lot more smarter as a 5-year-old, but only technically still knows the basics due to being a 5-year-old. As the more he grows up, the more he will learn. And the more he grows up, the more stronger he will get, I guess, practically. At least his body will adapt to, spiritual pressure. Not getting stronger, but his body will adapt to spiritual pressure. As Deku would now, I guess, due to... It's kind of like a Ten Tails thing where, you have to have enough mentality to not go insane using the power. Kind of like that. So yeah, he would have no emotions, but he would still act kind, but the power, the drawback of this is that the power within him makes him feel all the pain the Hollows felt in their past, like before they become the sword. Or sorry, not the sword. Before they formed the Hollow King. He will feel all their pain. He will feel all their pain, and the emotions they felt of practically all negativity, practically any type of negativity, and possible would be inside Deku's head, splitting Deku to creating more of a dark side to Deku. So kind of, if you mess with him, karma gonna happen. That's all I gotta say. As over the years, Deku is now 6. 6, and he's now learning about the Hollow King's name. Which comment down below what I should name this version of the Hollow King. So yeah. Anyways, practically the roaming, practically Yoichi would just keep an eye on Deku, making sure he don't do anything dumb or get in any type of angry, because any instance of Deku becoming angry, any instance, would kind of take him into that berserk mode. Into, if you ever seen Deku's holification on how, he got his thing, and how they had to have him in the barrier from, they had a fight with him, so, they won't, so Ichigo has enough time to, control the hollow within. Outside of his body, he was, becoming holified. So that's practically what would happen if Deku gets even slight bit of mad. Or, the more, if he becomes mad, he would, first, if he's, just annoyed, it will slowly but surely, turn into anger, weak anger, and eventually turn into normal anger, and then, furious anger. Slowly but surely, like, one thing can lead to a next, kind of like a domino effect. The more, even if he is annoyed, that eventually lead to him, berserking out, or, raging, into turning into the holification, practically. And he knows if that happens, people, I guess the hollow inside Deku, he knows if that happens that people will come for him. Because, he doesn't want to stand a chance, because, it attacks the soul directly, so yeah. Anyways, he knows if this happens, the Soul Society will, try to kill him once more. And so, yeah. As you know, Deku always has the mask on him. He don't have, like, people will notice that more and surely that he would always have this mask around him, or, on him at all times. Due to, the mask is the only thing that, it's gonna sound a little weird, but the Hollow King himself calms Deku down. And the mask is the only way of, him connecting to Deku to, calm him down, or, prevent him from raging. Because, if he rages without the mask, he'll go full on, holification. But if he rages with the mask, the Hollow King will be able to pursue him to calm down and, stop the holification before it even starts. It will be difficult, but eventually be done. And Deku, be to his normal self, stay in his normal self instead of holification. So kind of like preventing things. So yeah. As you know, Bakugo would notice this. It's like, why you... Oh wait, I guess he'll be a kid Bakugo. Ha! Why you always holding to that, you loser? You look like a villain always holding that scary thing around. Only villains hold scary things. As you know, he will bully Deku. As you know, he will now have his quirk. Boom boom boy. Yeah. See, there will be 6, and the bullying will start. Yeah. And so it would, making, the Hollow King struggle, making the Hollow King's work a lot more difficult from preventing Deku to, not holification, not rage, because, he is struggling while the bullying is happening, the Hollow King has to try his damnedest just to calm, Deku down, so he don't, or, prevent him from getting annoyed or anything like that, so he don't, start, the holification process. So, yeah. He does his, he's struggling. He himself is still struggling. He may be strong, but due to it being his own power, it's kind of hard to fight against your own power, so yeah. So, Deku would not resign, but, he would have, he wouldn't like Bakugo at all. I mean, he wouldn't have feelings, but I mean, well, he would, but not at the same time. It's weird. He would dislike Bakugo kind of a way. He wouldn't, but would at the same time. He would avoid, not avoid, he'd be it's hard to say. But, Bakugo, after bullying for years, he would start to notice something else growing from the back of Bakugo's head. I mean, not Bakugo's head, Deku's head. All the negativities and, things of Bakugo would technically, all that emotion that Deku is feeling from not being holification or, becoming holified will start to form a mask on the, another mask, I guess, since he has 2 masks, or it would, start to form another mask. All that negativity and, all that anger will be formed into, an actual item, into a second hollow mask, which practically would turn into the white mask you see now. The more angrier Deku gets, the more, things it will have. It will be white, 3 stripes and eyes, 3 stripes and eyes, and some details, 4 stripes and details, a lot of details and, 4 stripes, and until, it becomes another version of, the hollow mask, this mask. So, yeah. The Hollow King will notice this and notice that it will be bad, so he tries to control Deku due to him having to, at this point, to take away Deku's emotions. So, yes, the mask will still be formed, but he will turn his emotions into a hollow mask, a second hollow mask. So, the hollow mask itself won't take control of Deku. So he had to take control of Deku before it took control of him. So yeah. And I guess others will be watching, and when I mean others, I mean, the guy with a hat will be watching, as so this is where the boy is. Or where the Hollow King is. I see. I guess Yoichi's somewhere around here, keeping an eye on him. Good. We don't need another outbreak. Many years ago with Aizen. So, the after effects won't appear. As you know, Deku would now be emotionless. He would pretend to be happy, but he's emotionless. And he would try to be happy, but he knows deep, dark inside himself, he has resentment towards Bakugo and all heroes, due to heroes not helping him, and the teachers as well. Practically anyone who doesn't help him, he doesn't like. Practically, how would I say, resents them in a way. Any people he resents anyone who doesn't help him. Meaning that he's gonna resent a lot of people. So Deku is now 7, and practically, if you want to know how much anger or emotion that has become of Deku at this point with the second Hollow Mask, it'll be all the way towards, I guess, the middle one. Or, technically first middle one. So, yeah. It'll be this one right here where my mouse is. That is how much anger Deku has felt. And when it becomes a entrance exam, it'll become this one. And then when it's, the USJ, it'll become this one. And these ones will be the other arcs. So, yeah. Or I guess each of these will be arcs. As you know, the Hollow King will feed off of this emotion, trying to decrease the number. So depending on how much anger Deku feels and how much the Hollow King absorbs, it can dramatically either increase or dramatically decrease. Or, stay either, calm area or, certain places than others. As he's trying to avoid this mask at any point in time. Like, he's doing very well at absorbing things, but he's more of the line this, and he's trying to dramatically decrease that because he knows if somehow the mask is blown off him or anything like that, it's over. The other mask, full of Deku's own emotion, will take control and practically a berserk-like state, not holification. But if both masks get off, it will become a holification. This will create Deku's other half. Deku himself will be the positive. Deku's own mask will be the negative. And, the Hollow King will technically be the guardian trying to prevent all this. And, holification. Both masks prevent holification. But if both are off, the holification will start practically. If he is enraged. And let's say he's 7 now, so week 3, Deku and Bakugo are fighting, and, this will be their first hand-to-hand fight, because let's say Bakugo got a couple lackeys, at least a good 3 to 5 of them, I guess a couple more, just 2 more people than, canon. So, what would happen is that Bakugo, due to wanting to bully Deku more, he would be a bit more stronger, but not by that much. And that what would happen is that eventually they would fight every day. As the Hollow Mask that Deku owns will absorb all that negative energy, increasing in, the rankings. As, making the Hollow King's job a lot more harder to prevent this, as, the other mask is trying to make this, as he's trying to prevent it, and even, turn into this. But due to over the years, Deku would have a resentment towards everyone. Heroes, villains, everyone. Except for his mother. As they still haven't found out that Hisashi Midoriya has died, but technically wasn't. It was, but wasn't this. Technically was and wasn't the Hollow King's fault, because he did try to, he tried to, scare off Hisashi, but due to, the seals they have on the Soul Society, it would end up the scaring or spiritual pressure he would have left behind, and the seals from the Soul Society gate would eventually kill Hisashi, which would lead to his death. So that'd be partially the Hollow King's fault. As they just say he's overseas and money's always bringing to him, but that is only they're trying to, his co-workers are trying to hide the fact that he's dead. So, they always send money every year or, every month. So, yeah, no one has told. So, it goes a little sad, but, she got Deku. Deku has her. And the only person Deku doesn't, this is a lot of talking. Resign. Let me flip. Hold up. Resent is his mother. Without his mother, yeah. Oh mighty, you have now been summoned. So practically, yeah. And now we go to when Deku's 8. Deku, over a span of his lifetime, has met, and he's a lot more smarter than other people. People will think him as a bit weird and somewhat of a freak, or a freak in general, due to him having 2 masks. And eventually, technically 3. Where would this third one be? This third one will technically be, it wouldn't be a thing, but at the same time it would. This will be, the Hollow King's Sanpakto trying to contact, or, trying to transfer. So, creating 3 masks. So Deku has 3 masks on, 1 mask on each side of his head, and, the other mask, or, the Hollow King's mask on the back of his head. So the Hollow King he's like, every day he's struggling, like max out struggling to, prevent both masks from taking over. Because he can't combine with his Sanpakto until it's fully there. Because, it's only coming up into existence small. So, back at, Melissa or Island, the sword or Sanpakto is slowly disappearing as, it's transporting to Deku. And due to it not being whole, the Hollow King can't exactly absorb it. So, yeah. What would happen is that after that would happen, Deku would have, slowly but surely, after, the third mask appears, or, not technically appears, it could technically be, like, small fragments of the mask, like, technically. So, yeah. It'd be, like, a very small fragment, technically. So, yeah. Deku would have outbursts of rage that not even Inko can stop. So he would just, he would be calm the first minute, and then, just immediately enraged the second minute. And, as practically 3 entities. Practically, since, that's the other half of the Soul King, and, Deku's own emotions, creating, the dark side of him, as he is the light side. So, yeah, that will practically be a lot for Deku, as, Deku would go to therapy every day, and I mean every day. Eventually meeting a couple people, in fact. Who would he meet? He would actually, his therapist would be, that would be a secret for now. That would be a secret. His therapist would be a secret. Why? Because it's a character from Bleach. Who? Not gonna tell you until you see this is part 1, right? Yeah. Until part 2 comes up. So, yeah. Leave at least 10 likes on this video, and I'll make part 2. So, Deku would, how would you say, get a lot of therapy. When I mean a lot of therapy, I mean it takes 3 therapists, 1 mother, and 1 Hollow King. And a couple interactions with, food, I guess. I guess technically 5. It'd be a couple. Yeah, he has a couple therapists. Okay. A couple therapists, about 3 therapists, 10 hours each, 3 masks, 1 Hollow King, his mother, Bakugo bullying him, and, what other positive outcomes can I have out of this? And Deku's purity to become a hero. Yeah. All those that are, Deku slowly but surely becoming broken. As, even though the Hollow King took away Deku's feelings, Deku still has, portions of, very little portions of happiness. As slowly but surely it starts to become nothing. due to just the amount of what's happening. As you know, he has to go through a lot of things, and it's stressing out Inko. But she number one mom, so yeah, number one mother, so yeah, she got it in there. She handling it pretty good. So yeah, Mama Midoriya, so yeah. Now we skip. That will happen in the next. I said he was A, so I'd be next. That'd be like the next. Wait, hold up. Shall it be that like the next 6 years, my guy? That'd be like the next years, like all that therapy and whatnot, like all the things I just said are all happening in a time span of 6 years. Or wait, no, 7 years. Solidly. I'm sorry, 7 years. Time span of 7 years. So Deku would now be 15, and how do you say, his emotions are not in check. Like at this point, the Hollow King wasn't able to keep his emotions away from him. So Deku's emotions are just out of whack, making him practically insane. Like yes but no. Like insane to the part where his emotions are everywhere, but not, psychotic insane. So yeah. Kind of a broken Deku, but his emotions, he can be happy and then sad the next second, and then angry the next, and then just laughing the flipping a minute later. So yeah, Deku wouldn't be in the right mindset, so he would always have this kind of like Broly. He would always have this mask on him. As what would happen is that he would meet someone, as they saw how bad Deku's life was, and they felt bad. So this person eventually visited Deku. It is none other than Yoichi, as she has felt, seen, and just been there as Deku has just having all this happen to him. As Deku is in his room. He just has he has his corner with drawings and whatnot, just random stuff everywhere in that little corner. He's just kneeling in that corner, and what would happen is that he would practically just be in that corner, and practically that would be his safe corner. He would feel safe there, as his emotions and whatnot will all be connected, and that would be the only place he would be happy. Of course, he will also be happy with his mother, but that would, like, in his doors besides his mother, that would be his only happiness spot in that corner, even if it's just like that little speck of happiness. As all these thoughts and negativities are going inside of his head. Just poor boy is just having none of this. As that there's nothing anybody can do for him at this point. Like Inko is even considering to bringing him to a hospital to get him help permanently. But when Yoichi appeared, Deku instantly felt spiritual pressure. Like his mind is dramatically expand in these 7 years. So he's smart. If you thought, he may be like, he's kind of like that broken smart. Like he just like gets random stuff out of nowhere and just is on point practically. He would feel this spiritual pressure. He would feel this nice and soft spiritual pressure. He wouldn't have felt anything like this. He would feel them far away, but now that they're up close, he feels some sort of comfort in the spiritual pressure. As if you don't know, Yoichi has a twin sister. So yes, at least I believe so. Or little sister at least. So yes, due to that, she would have type of like a comforting aura. So Deku would feel this. He wouldn't move because I mean that's his corner still. So yeah, he would move, and Yoichi would introduce herself to Inko. As Inko would they would talk. Do you have any children? As Inko would say yes, but he's not in the right mindset. I have this. As she opens Deku's room. They walk up, talk for a bit, and go to Deku's room, opening it, seeing just the mess that it is. Clothes, drawings, everything, everywhere. So yeah, all types of things. The masks are on the bed. The 3 masks, or technically 2 masks, since it's only like a corner of the mask, technically. So yeah. So 2 masks and a fractured mask, I guess. Just laid down. As there, I guess they would be levitating in this above Deku. So yeah, as Yoichi sees this, Deku wouldn't want to look, but he looks anyways. So, he sees this light. He sees this light that he can trust. Something that can finally have him feel the way safe, as he sees Yoichi as an angel, practically someone that can finally guide him. At least may not do it completely, guide him completely, but at least giving him hope that there's still something he can do with his life. As she will also let a little bit of spiritual pressure go. As Inko would leave the room, getting tea ready. As both Deku and Yoichi would talk. As Deku would, his emotions will slowly, as talking to Yoichi, would get back together, and he would feel like his old self again, like a child again. Because he had no childhood. What he was given, he had no childhood. He was always pressured by Bakugo and just everything else that was happening. He was just insane. As he feels happy with Yoichi, and as time goes on, it might not get better, but just little bits and pieces are getting better for Deku. Not completely, nor would it ever get completely, but Deku starts to feel safe around Yoichi. As Yoichi is now, after this year of middle school, he'll feel that Yoichi's onto him. As she'll come over, every day to check up on Deku. Because it's at that point where if something happens, Deku's gone. The masks fighting over control would just a surge of spiritual pressure will just rip Deku apart just by the amount of power. Deku's physical capabilities will be overwhelming, stronger than even All Might's, beyond All Might's strength at this point. For the amount of years his body had to adapt to this just chaotic energy of fighting, just this mental battle of fighting between 3 separate beings, his body would physically be just immensely defined and just compressed into pure muscle. So yes, Deku would have a sad life, sadly. As over the time, Ichiko has now gained a Bankai at this point. He has now gained Bankai. As this all happens. As the Soul Society has tried looking for Deku, but due to his spiritual pressure being so high, not even Kenpachi would feel this. Kenpachi would be the only person to actually feel this. Just it's weighing down on him. Kenpachi feels this, and no one's able. He was surprised that he tried to go with without the eye patch. It's forcing Kenpachi himself to kneel. And even the other Kenpachi from the other universes just feels this. And just getting him excited on, what fight they can have in the future. But he knows if he loses, it's over. As, eventually Aizen feels this. Overwhelming him. as Deku, when the time comes and teacher throws everything in the air, just immense abilities will appear. Just people don't look at him at this point. Like they avoid any eye contact, any mention, like anything about him. Because a couple times Deku has beaten the heck out of students, severely injuring them, broken bones, like almost crippling them completely, like forever. Like he crippled like at least 2 people and severely injured 4. Like the only reason they're not kicking him out is like they're just imagining what would happen if he was kicked out of the school. Like his emotions would just be out of control. Like all these things are happening at just unique centuries, just points in his life. As you know, teacher throws everything in the air, and just Bakugo. As you know, Bakugo does his rant. As Bakugo, due to his spiritual pressure, not Bakugo's spiritual pressure, Deku's spiritual pressure being so high, just like it's so high, it makes its own aura, like its own emotional aura. People would just feel this overwhelming, just gloomy sadness, just this glooming sadness aura, just drowning. Like like people would drown in this sadness aura just near Deku. Just it's insane. Just like an ocean just appeared out of nowhere of sadness and just drowning them. It almost killed a person. So Deku has to have this collar on. And even so, it's still almost suffocating to everyone. It's still almost suffocating. So yes, as the teacher stutters and says, Izuku Midoriya has also volunteered for UA. As you know, Bakugo, let's just say, just for his arrogance, Bakugo has so much arrogance in this world, or in this what if. He doesn't notice just the drowning aura or suffocating aura, just sadness and just pain that goes over Deku, and that everyone around can feel this, except for Bakugo, due to Bakugo have so much arrogance inside of him. So yeah. So yeah. And I'll say, let's say just for reasons, Yoichi, she became Deku's personal, like, do you know how people with help and like have a person beside them? That's Deku. She's also there, like Yoichi's there, like she has, even with her, like the just amount of just sadness and everything. Like anything that can, like anything negative or anything that changes in his life can just obliterate just everything in his path. Like one more negative change to his life can just ruin everything. Like just everything will be gone just for the amount of spiritual pressure. This is even rivaling Kenpachi's Bankai. And this is Deku's base form. Not released, but this is the aura, like full on aura, like the Soul King, like the Hollow King he can't compress them, like the aura any longer. So that's the full aura. So Kenpachi's, that's practically his base form, practically. At least first release Kenpachi, that's his form. So yeah, and he would feel like that little slim of happiness he has is with Yoichi and his mother. Those are the only 2 people he cares about. Like all the other, 5 therapists, he don't care about them. He only cares about Yoichi and his mother. So kind of like a seesaw. One more thing that is unbalanced and everything can just come crashing down as everything is just gone. As you know, Yoichi, she, after, this aura, as everyone just avoids Deku's eyes. This makes Deku's sad. Because no one wants to be his friend. No one wants to do anything with him. So, Yoichi sees this. And, she just, gives Deku a little massage. Kind of like, it's okay, I'm here. You don't have to be sad. I'm your friend. So, kind of like that. So, kind of like that friend, like that aunt friend, kind of. So, yeah. And yeah, Deku's just had the worst life that can ever be possible. The only thing that's literally making him go forward in life is his flippin' determination of wanting to be a hero and just wanting to prove everyone wrong. But even that is limited too. As Bakugo does that scene. As he tries to, Bakugo does try to, explode Deku's desk, but before Deku can even, he's halfway there. Before Deku can even, raise his hand out of his pockets to smash on Deku's desk, Yoichi's already there with a hand on his arm, pinning him to the ground. Because she knows, if that would have happened, Deku, the aura that's behind him, the aura that's inside of him would just be just bloodlust. Like, anything besides that negativity. Like, remember, the third, there's 3 gates. Emotions. Holification power in general. The aura. And bloodlust. Just pure bloodlust. Nothing but death and bloodlust. So yes, that would have instantly activated at least 2 gates. So yes, that would have instantly activated 2 gates. Just 2 stages, it's gone. Holification, no more. I guess the holification, because technically technically 2 master fighting, and just the third one's kind of butting in. But anyways. Holification will take form, and this wouldn't be any normal hollow. This would be the most powerful hollow, at least, not as strong as the Hollow King, but just to like at least 25% of his power. But that's still a lot, though. That's still a lot. So yeah, as you know, what would happen is that next up. Is that over this time, everything will happen in Ichigo's universe. As after Bankai, he would have gained, his release. As it would now be, how would you say? This would be all the way when Ichigo loses his abilities for the first time. Or I guess this would be when Deku is fighting. Who would he be fighting? He'd be fighting one of the Espadas right now. This would be his second or first Espada fight. So yeah. As everyone, they're trying to find, and the old man is like, Kenpachi, if you can sense him, tell us where. This is the Deku universe. So yeah, Kenpachi, he's like, the only reason the old man knows this is that Kenpachi just has a big ass smile on his face. Like, he just waiting until he's ready to they allow him to go to the surface world, or world of living. As everything will happen, and I guess Deku would still take the not the I guess the long way home. I guess under the bridge will be the long way home. As let's say due to reasons, Yoichi, due to her not using her power in such a long time, she would have human, just a bit of just a superhuman strength and whatnot, just normally superhuman and everything, due to her not using her abilities for such a long time. So yeah. So the sludge villain still appears, and this time when a sludge villain, instead of let's say Yoichi felt this, she felt a presence. So she pushed Deku out the way, as the sludge villain takes hold of Yoichi. As Yoichi says one word or a couple words, "Don't lose control." As Deku sees this. He's scared that he doesn't want to lose Yoichi. As the sludge villain is like, "I'll take your body. You're good enough." As what would happen next is that as soon as the sludge villain said, "I'll kill I'll after I finish taking her body, she'll be no more," or practically, I will kill her, practically in that sense. Or at least that's what Deku heard. Just a massive, like, the mask, like his own mask appears on him as just a giant Cyril, or just just a giant wave just appears. Ugh. What I mean is that practically what happens next is that a blast or a slash so flippin' big it makes a giant crater. Practically just makes a giant crater. Or not a crater, but a ravine, a giant ravine. Getsuga Tensho, that's what's going. He uses a Getsuga Tensho, making a giant ravine across. I guess it'd be at this point he'll be more than planetary. So yeah, how would you say? For reasons, the Earth, or kind of like Pokemon, this Earth is adaptable to Deku's power level, or I guess his spiritual pressure. Still gonna dramatically destroy a lot of things, but what would happen is that there would be no sound from Deku, as his the mask would just appear and slice the sludge villain in half, killing him. Not killing Yoichi, because let's say Yoichi would be on the side. So he cuts the sludge villain in half. Because let's say after, what happened, after, sludge villain was, yeeted, it kind of hid in the sewers, because I said there were Soul Reapers appeared, and that's when they started looking for Deku. So yeah. As someone feels this. Someone that's in the world of the living. As, Byakuya is on the world of living with Genji, I think. Genji, I believe that's his name. As they're both in the world of living, like how in Bleach they both, were in the living. Same thing here. So, they feel this. Like, they feel just a burst of spiritual pressure because, it wasn't his full power. This was his weakest power. Like, it almost killed them both. Like, made them flat like a pancake from how much, like, it was only an instance. Just an instance of it. Like, one attack. That one instance almost killed them. And that was his weakest attack. Yeah. So, at that point, if you don't know, Deku's like a mile away from that giant, ravine with, Yoichi in his arms. I will not let anyone hurt you. As in a hollified voice. As the determination of becoming a hero. He rips off the mask from his face, puts it on the side of his head. Because, he can't really destroy it. Because it'll just reappear. So, yeah. he has a pretty crazy control over his spiritual pressure and everything, just his hollowified state. So let's see. Let's go to entrance exam. Yeah. What would happen is that Deku would have inhibitors to conceal his power. At least 5 of them. Wait, 1, 2. Yeah, 5 of them. 1 on his arms, like a bracelet. 2 on his legs. And, 1 in his neck. 2, After what just happened, yeah. Yoichi made sure to, seal his presence entirely. So, he even has to wear a belt. And, his clothing entirely is made of seals to, seal his power. But, just a bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit appears. Just a little bit leaks out. Just a little bit. Just a tad bit. And that tad bit's only able to, like, what? Just move something. Just able to kill, like, just kind of, not kill, but, I mean, that little bit can at least destroy a couple trees or whatnot. Full capacity, his now full power now is just, only able to destroy, like, full power, only able to destroy, like, 1 car. That's all he can do. That's how compressed those his restriction bracelets are, and everything he has on. So yeah, he over time he does get better control. 10 months mark, he wants to control everything, like just everything. So he meditates. And over these 10 months, he fights. Like, his mentality right now is so flippin' strong. He makes the Hollow King bow down before him. Because this is unstable. This is unstable power he has right now. After the 10-month mark, he has now controlled. Like, he has everything in check. So he still needs the inhibitors or restrictions, so you don't destroy anything. But, he has decent amount of control. Like, how do you say? Bankai Ichiko control. So, yeah. When he first got Bankai. So, that's how much control he has. He has a pretty good control over it. It's only a matter of fact of kind of a Broly thing. One thing, if, either one of them dies, gotta get that rage out. So yeah, he's able to go at least. His strength right now is at least up to here. It disappears here and in here. It goes to these 2 masks. Bottom right. It fades in and out between these 2 masks. With full, like, what he can muster up, like what he doesn't have trouble with, or he's still gotta focus and everything on it, is this. But he struggles with this though. He's almost to this on the control, but this only happened after he accidentally at one point he almost shattered his mind, which immediately flashed into this, but immediately just went to this, and then this. But he's on, like, he's doing pretty good. So that corrupted energy, though the world has adapted eventually to his spiritual pressure. So yeah. And when he walks up the stairs to the entrance exam, he sees someone. As 2 people walk down to see him. And that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you for everyone watching. This is What If Deku Was a Hollow Part 1 or to the movie. Remember, subscribe, comment down on the video, and leave a like. And tell me what I should name the Hollow King of this universe. See you all, everyone, and I'll see you. This is Limitless Ron Pen, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.